John Bacon will never say that in his entire life.
You better believe
he will never
that
forget
one,
to eat, no matter how stressful
Never.
or how he feels. He will never forget to eat. I will forget to eat.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's forgetting as much as it's just a matter of I can't focus because I'm in pain and I got to get through what I need to do.
Mm-hmm. What up, family? Welcome to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we desire for you to take the bits of information and immediately apply them to your life for success. The ground rules for our podcast is that it will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about on the Bacon Bits Podcast is dealing with having a balanced life. And I need to hear y'all say it. Say valuable. Information. Apply. Equals success. And that lovely voice that you hear alongside me is the queen of my heart. And y'all know her also as the habanero sugar. My baby, Diana Acosta-Bacon.
Hey, babe.
Hey, boo.
So glad to hang out with you today.
I'm glad my baby hanging out with me. Yes. Mm-hmm. And what we going to talk about today is a phenomenal topic, a challenging topic, a worthwhile topic, as all of them are. But it's pertaining to pain. Pain.
Blame it on the pain. Which I normally do every day anyway.
Hey. But I love the
pain.
I love the desire, and I love the acronym that's going to be explained throughout this episode, which is phenomenal. But honey, let's go into it when you think about pain.
So this conversation came about because we were having a conversation and just breaking down some of the things that my brain goes through when I'm in pain, which is only when I'm waking. So a lot of people deal with chronic pain. A lot of what I've done, and I think we may have discussed it around wintertime, was my new apothecary that I have created for myself with new herbs and supplements and just a lot of herbs and little teas that I've made myself to try and take away from using big pharma. So it's really came from willow bark. Willow bark is what aspirin is made from. It contains the same chemical breakdown as salicin, which is you can actually taste the salicin when you take it in the tea, and it has the same effects without a lot of the negative effects of aspirin, assuming you don't abuse it. Like anything in life, you don't abuse it. But I think we were talking, and some of the things that I go through when I'm feeling pain, and I think a lot of us go through them, whether we are aware of them mentally, emotionally, physically, we are doing a check list, kind of like what we do in the morning. Wake up, brush my teeth, get dressed. Like we all have like a routine, kind of like a checklist.
Yeah.
And this is one of those things that I have a checklist that I do with how I'm feeling physically.
Yeah.
Because pain is our teacher. Pain alerts us and is an indicator as to our state of imbalance.
Yeah.
For the most part, we don't feel well. Sometimes we're just like, I'm just not feeling well. It's not like I feel sick. I just don't feel well. And, it could be a lot of things, but it's a survival signal. It's a survival signal alerting the brain to a potential harm or to triggering our fight or flight.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of us want to, a lot of you work in the industry of drug and alcohol.
Yeah.
People are in flight.
Yeah. And the reason why you had, honestly, why this whole podcast was started in the first place was it was out of pain, y'all. I mean, usually the people that we deal with, whether it's bipolar, schizophrenic, whether it's alcohol or drugs, it stems from some type of pain, So it's just not, this podcast is just not for people that are dealing with the chronic pain, but there's also other different types of pain that we want to talk about. And man, it's just a phenomenal topic, man.
Yeah, and just like in your industry that you work in and, you devote a lot of your life and you have a passion for is everything that we do, we have to recognize if we're doing it as a distraction because of our fight or flight, because we're distracting from our pain or discomfort or imbalance in our life.
Yeah.
And chronic pain is just one of those things. And a lot of people have chronic pain. They've hurt their knee, they've had surgery, and they know when it's going to rain. Like, it could be the smallest things. It could be something like you broke a finger when you were a child from hanging off a monkey bar, but then every time you go to grasp a cup of coffee or you go to drive, you feel it. So chronic pain is not a competition.
Right.
It could be something very small, or it could be something very extreme, like a quadruple amputation. It could be so many things, but pain is pain. So first of all, it's not a competition.
Right.
And the reality is that chronic pain disrupts the communication between our brain cells, and it leads us to process emotions and make decisions that maybe we wouldn't make.
Right.
If we are not physically feeling the effects of pain. So first of all, before I even go into the acronym of breaking down pain, is how do we cope with this chronic pain, right? We, a lot of things that people talk about, you talk about it at work, you talk about it on your podcast, is mind-body kind of therapies, techniques like meditation, meditation, not medication. Medication can help. It can be helpful. Meditation and yoga, they can be a way of helping reduce your pain by changing the way that your brain is perceiving the pain.
Yes.
Right? Pain management is important to address. People that I recognize, I know you've heard me talk a lot about the Desert Alchemist and Hernan Castro, and when Lion's Mane is a huge part of my life with healing. But I first began with the tincture of Pain Mame because I was in chronic pain and I just couldn't function. I couldn't even get out of the bed to go to the bathroom first because it was just too painful. So that's where I started. But what a lot of people do, and you're going to catch yourself and find yourself in this category of a lot of people, they wait way too long to take something. They say, I feel a headache coming on, and they'll go all day long and not drink extra water, not slow their day down. They say, I have too many things going on, but they don't take a moment to just reflect, meditate, maybe eat a good meal, maybe close their eyes for a few moments. Get a great big glass of water with a little bit of salt. Like, they don't do the necessary steps. They wait so long, and now the pain has gotten so severe. And the same, I work in hospice. I volunteer and I work in hospice and living assistant. And one of the things that we are told is you cannot wait when your loved one is in pain of maybe just going through the death process of their body. Don't wait till they're so much in pain that now it takes more medication. Now they're going to be so sedated that they're not going to have any quality of life. Like, there's just some things that you don't wait till you can barely handle it anymore.
Right.
And too many of us, and I say us, too many of us do that. We get caught up in the day. I guarantee a lot of people say, I just forgot to eat today. John Bacon will never say that in his entire life.
You better believe
he will never forget to eat, no matter how stressful or how he feels. He will never forget to eat. I will forget to eat. And I don't know if it's forgetting as much as it's just a matter of, I can't focus because I'm in pain and I got to get through what I need to do. I have responsibilities. I got to handle that first. And I just don't have the energy to chew, swallow, and process and digest. That's the truth. Right? Pain makes us make decisions that aren't very smart.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right? And, a lot of the reality when it's all said and done, if you're not willing or able to invest in yourself, seek professional help. There's people out there that will love to help you. One of my things that I have a really hard time about pain, and I tell it to John all the time, and all of us have been here. Every single human being has been here. We live in a performative world.
Yes.
So my discomfort, my fear, whether of just not being enough or nothing ever changing in my life, or my fear of not getting help, or my pain shouldn't be on display to be real, in your opinion.
Right.
It doesn't need to be, yet that's what we are taught, whether in theory or in practice. We go to the doctor and they're like, well, you look great. Yeah, man, but I'm in pain. So you're depressed. No, I'm not depressed. I'm in pain. So you're in pain because you're depressed. No, I'm depressed because you're not listening and I'm in pain. And it's depressing me. So this circle that we have to be in a demonstrative performance mode in order to get help. I refuse to perform. And a lot of us just suck it up.
Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
Same, even with our mechanics, right? You go to you have your car's making a sound, you go to the mechanic and suddenly it makes no sounds, kind of that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
We do that to ourselves. I don't want to have to perform.
Right.
But we need to learn how to communicate really, really well. So I'm saying all that to get to our point of my acronym.
Yeah, no.
Saying all that to get to the point of our acronym, like something I run through my head daily, at least 100 times a day. I run through this. Takes me 4 or 5 seconds. I run through this. And it only takes me that quickly a time, only because I've been doing it for many years, and I do it so often. I try my very best to try to be in tune with myself, my mind, my body, my spirit. Where am I? So let's break down pain, babe.
Yeah, babe. Let's do it.
Let's break down pain. So let's start with the word P. P, pain makes us present to the situation.
Yeah.
So P stands for presence. You can have, what do you call it when your fingernail grows into your skin next to it? What do you call
ingrown.
that? No, it's not ingrown hair. What do you call that? Ingrown? It's not ingrown. When your fingernail goes into your skin on the side. It is ingrown nail? Ingrown nail. That could be hurting you so bad, and you want to rip that little skin apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you think about all day long. You can't brush your teeth. You can't forget about combing your hair. Forget washing dishes. But 99.9999% of the rest of your body works fine.
Yes.
But that's the only thing you're thinking of, because it automatically brings you to the present moment. That one thing of that pain, you are present, and you are so physically aware of the presence of pain. A, the awareness. The awareness. This presence of being aware brings an awareness to my body and to my situation and to where I am in life right now, today. If I woke up in pain, I'm like, oh, my head hurts. The first thing I'm going to think about is my awareness of it.
Yeah.
So it builds an awareness to my body. Did I sleep? Did I sleep wrong? Did I drink some water? Like,
check in.
My situation, like my situation right now. And I leads me right into the I. So we have presence, we have awareness, and I is insight. Because this one falls right into insight, is the awareness that transforms into insight. How could I have caused this?
Ooh.
Or maybe, not I, but maybe what could have caused this? Our capacity to gain differing, intuitive, and accurate understanding. So for me, my first thing, usually what I do is I wake up, if I'm up in 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, first thing I'm looking at is the AQ. I'm looking at the air quality, because that affects the way I feel on a daily basis. And for those who have any kind of brain injury and maybe some other kind of injuries, you know the pressure of the atmosphere affects you physically. That's one of the first things I do. It brings me to my present moment. It brings me an awareness in my body, and it brings me to intuit, okay, what's going on? Is it something that's around me? Is it something I caused?
Right.
Like, did I go into a very busy area and then I'm overwhelmed and I'm wondering, like, because I may have caused how I'm feeling. I may have caused it. Or it could just be environmental.
Yeah.
It could be because I hadn't eaten or drank anything and maybe I'm dehydrated. But awareness automatically links right to insight. You have to have insight as to, first of all, don't blame yourself. It could have been environmental. It could be biological. It could be just a physical thing of, I didn't sleep. I didn't eat, and I haven't drank enough water.
So that's the beauty of doing that quick scan. Am I nourished? Do I have the vitamins that my body needs? Anger carries over a lot of times. So I know personally, I always want to do an inventory personally of what I've, can fix if it's possible. Is it you're feeling lonely because, people make some crazy decisions when they lonely. And then it's also, am I tired? Like you said, did I get enough sleep? Did I go to sleep at a decent time? Because you still can get 8 hours, from 12 to 8, 12 at midnight to 8 in the morning versus, you going to bed at 9 and getting up at 5. Guess what? See, even though it's 8 hours both ways, it's still how you got to sleep in them 8 hours. Because sometimes when I go to sleep too late at night, that 8 hours can be the same 8 hours, but it's just not as restful because I went to bed too late and my body didn't get a chance to get into them, them REMs before we, before it's too late. And like I said, I can't, it's not a quality of sleep. I got the 8 hours, but it's not. what I would have wanted it to be, because, and that's where I have to check myself and say, guess what, man, you need to get to bed earlier, bro, because this is not cutting it. So I think that's big. So I think that personal insight is real big, but it's always that for me. And actually, I said that's me personally. I'm always going to scan real quick, like, man, what could I have done that put me in this pain right here? Is it didn't do good enough at the job? So that's why they tightening up on things at the job. Is it I'm getting older, so that I have to take that in consideration. Like, don't forget that when you're doing inventory. Like, man, there's some stuff that just comes with age that you said you didn't have no say in it. It just it's life happening on life's terms, so you have to catch it. So I think that's super important too.
So, and you naturally, organically did the rhythm of what's next. So the pain brings presence, the A brings the awareness, the I brings the insight. The awareness and insight just flow into each other, and that insight is what builds our new reality. So by being and getting present, by being aware, by building on our insight, we bring the reality and the transformation. And that's when we can allow our pain to create opportunities for us to show up better the next time. Because chronic pain is not always a physical ailment. It could be grief. It could be an emotional grief, a heaviness of heart. It could be an overwhelming inability to stop worrying about everything. Yeah. Like not being able to control your life and not knowing what to do, and you're just feeling stuck. It could be loneliness. It could be aging. Yeah. It could be empty nesting. It could be so many different parts of what brings us pain. It could be emotional. It could be mental. It could be mental health things that we need to address. So chronic pain is not always a physical thing, because the reality is it does trigger a lot. It triggers depression. Depression also triggers and creates physical pain. Yeah. So one is not better than the other. One is not griever or greater. Pain is not a competition. You can be grieving and you can be grateful. Yeah. In the same breath. One does not completely knock out the other. I can be grieving every day of the life that I didn't get to live. But I can be grateful for the life I am getting to live. Yeah. You can be grateful for the things that you have. You have a roof over your head and food on your table, and you can be grateful for the health of your family and your loved ones, and nothing's really wrong. Right. But you can be grieving the fact that maybe you would have done things differently when you were younger and you had the strength and the ability to raise your children differently. Maybe at work, you're just going through the motions, and the pain of not feeling purposeful, the pain of not feeling needed, right? I heard this amazing quote, and it's so profound, and it said that when you don't feel wanted, you make yourself needed.
Can you break that down a little bit more?
Oh, it makes me want to cry, because I don't think that men don't feel this, but I know that as women, we feel this. And as we age, so I'll give you examples. I'm not saying I am leading this life. Right, like you make me feel loved and wanted and all those things. But as an example, maybe as an example for work, to separate from people who don't have, spouses and children, for instance. Maybe you don't necessarily feel wanted. You don't feel like your job is secure. So you go above and beyond doing things that aren't necessarily in your
wheelhouse.
In your not even your wheelhouse, because you can learn to do things, and we want to learn. We want to expand our brain, but not necessarily your responsibility. Right. And you're covering for others, and you do above and beyond to your own fault, which you have to struggle and work home to complete your tasks, because you're helping everybody else, because you don't feel needed. I mean, you don't feel wanted there. So you make yourself needed. If I'm home and I'm a wife and I don't feel like my husband wants me, I make sure the laundry's done. I make sure the cooking is always on the table. I make sure everything's available to him. So he needs me. He needs me to take care of him in some sense. Our children need us to take care of them in some sense. So we continue to show up even when we don't have it. Right. Even when we don't have it to give, because we want to feel needed as almost as an excuse to show up. So if I bring or offer a service to you, which is usually of ourself, I may not be wanted, but maybe I'll find a way that you need me. And then maybe I'll trick my brain into believing that you want me.
Right. That's a deep thought, huh? I think that's beautiful for people to just sit back and almost want to pause the podcast for a quick minute and really reflect on that part right there, because I think it happens a lot more than most people will admit, or they think they doing it, and that's the cool part about, listening to podcasts and reading different books and stuff like that. It makes you think outside the box of how you typically would think. Because like I said, we all want to be, and I believe in my heart, I think we're all needed. But sometimes we don't feel that way because we don't feel like we're being productive for the people around us that need our help. But sometimes we say, you know what, how can I be of use to the person that that's what I love, my kids, my babies, my job, doing that. But sometimes you just have those moments where you're just like, man, I feel like I'm just going through the motions. And so you got to ask yourself the question, how can I be more needed in this process? So how can I make myself more available?
But that's what I'm saying. You make yourself needed because you
Right.
do not feel wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than you feel needed, there's also that flip side of the mind that says, well, if I stop doing everything, will they even notice I'm gone?
Right. Yeah.
Because you're not wanted.
Right.
So you make yourself needed.
Mm-hmm.
People do it without realizing they're doing it, and then they wonder why they're exhausted.
Right.
Right? Stop setting yourself on
part right
fire
there.
trying to keep everybody else warm.
Right. That part.
And we
right
love
there.
we love to set ourselves on fire
Yeah.
because people like to watch
Mm-hmm. Man,
and they like to stay warm.
that makes you think about some stuff right
Yeah.
there, boy.
But it's hard to acknowledge the fact that we are innately wanted by God. We are loved by
Yeah.
people, whether or not we believe it,
Mm-hmm.
whether or not they know how to show it.
Yeah.
The pain of not feeling wanted, the pain of chronic pain from sickness or illness or injury, the pain of feeling forgotten and ignored, the pain of not living a purposeful life or feeling like you're not, the pain of not fulfilling every dream that you thought you'd be doing at this point in your life.
Right.
Be present, be aware, have some insight, and then create anew. Like, what could I do differently? Like, I'm feeling lonely this morning. I'm present. I'm aware that I'm feeling lonely this morning. Oh, it's a Sunday. That means everyone's at work. That means I don't have a routine. Okay, I have some insight on that. What could I do? Well, I can do something. Well, I don't feel like doing it. Well, I have a new way to change my life tomorrow then. Maybe next week I'll do something different. Now I have the presence, the awareness, the insight, and the new. I can transform that feeling of whatever pain that is in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just grief. Maybe you're missing somebody. Maybe find a way that you can celebrate that person.
Yeah.
Celebrate the memories of that you're left with. Go take yourself out to a dinner or make their favorite thing that they love to eat. There's so many things that we can do
right.
when we're dealing with pain. And
Yeah.
chronic pain is not always physical pain. And we have to remember when I talked about the wanting and the needing, if we don't feel wanted, we will make ourselves feel needed. You are innately good.
Yeah.
You are good. And you are not the bad thing because of your depression, because of your sadness, because of your addiction, because of your illness, because of all these things that we trick our mind into believing that we are the bad thing. You're not the bad thing. You are loved. You are wanted. And the first thing we can do is learn to cherish ourselves.
Yeah. And then when you're having those moments of loneliness, sometimes we need to check in with, guess what? I haven't heard from, whoever that person may be. So instead of me waiting for them to, call me, guess what? It works both ways. How about I reach out to the people that I love and check in on them and see how they doing, And sometimes they needed that call. They needed that text. They needed that. But we didn't realize at the moment why we felt lonely is because it was time for us to reach out to that person and check up on them and see how they were doing. And I always know it. Every time I check up on my boys and see how they doing, if I check up on family members and see how they doing, it makes me feel good. And it got me out of that moment of feeling like I was lonely, because guess what? I feel like it was put on my heart to go check on them instead of, me waiting for somebody else to check on me, So I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah. One of the sad realities of pain, whether it be emotional, physical, mental, pain makes us a little bit narcissistic, right? We want people to come to us.
Right.
We don't want to reach out.
Come on, girl.
We decide, I've done everything for you in the past. I've done enough. I don't have anything left to give. I've gave it all and I'm still alone.
Right.
or I'm still in pain, or I've done all the doctor's appointment, like whatever that is, whatever
Yeah.
that category is in your life. But it's slightly narcissistic. And when you're aware of that bring us back to the presence and being aware of what I'm aware of the fact that I'm feeling lonely. I'm aware I'm a little bit pissed off because no one's calling me. I'm aware I have a little insight here. Like that's okay. Like own it.
Yeah.
But recognizing the fact that the truth be told, we want a little bit more attention. We want to be babied. We want to be loved. We want to be cherished. We want to be
cared for.
We recognize the fact that pain kind of creates narcissism, but doesn't make you a narcissist.
Right.
It just means that I am fully aware that I want more attention than others are capable of giving right now. You might want and need a gallon-size hug. That's me. But everyone else is also living and struggling and doing their life, and they're trying to keep their stuff together, and they can give you a couple tablespoons on the fly.
Give you a pint. Yeah.
So recognizing your need is not necessarily everyone else's emergency.
Yeah.
But you do have the ability to be present, be aware, grow in your insight, and create a new reality.
Yeah. Pain. Man, that was some good stuff. My love. So, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor, man. Listen to this podcast again. Slow down, take some notes, and really dive into the pain that you may be in this moment. Guys, love you so much, man. This was such a blessing. Thank you, baby, for being on here again with me. I love being on here with you and doing podcasts together. Guys, we love you. We only want the absolute best for you. Take time and do some searching into the pain. God bless. What up, fam? Do you need some extra tools that's going to help your life be the best that it can possibly be? Are you constantly juggling work, family, and personal time, only to feel drained and unfulfilled? That's where the book that I wrote, called The Balanced Life, can be your guide to reclaiming your time, energy, and happiness. With practical strategies for setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and achieving real balance. This book helps you create a life that you love without the burnout. Get ready to break free from the chaos and step into a life of purpose and peace. Grab your copy of The Balanced Life because you deserve a life that works for you. Also, we have The Unraveling. It's a journal to help you write, reflect, and heal. Your thoughts matter. Your feelings deserve space. The Unraveling Journal is more than just a notebook. It's your personal guide to self-reflection, healing, and growth. With guided prompts, mindfulness exercises, and room to express yourself freely, this journal helps you untangle emotions, process life's challenges, and rediscover clarity. Take a moment for you. Write, reflect, and heal, one page at a time. And fam, also another book written by my wife is Healthy Relationships. Because fam, you know this. Great relationships don't just happen. They're built. Whether it's with your partner, kids, friends, or co-workers, strong connections are the foundation of a happy life. In Healthy Relationships, you'll learn how to communicate better, set healthy boundaries, and nurture trust in every relationship that matters to you. Because when your connections thrive, you thrive. Start building stronger, healthier relationships today. Order your copy at kingdomservantsfirst.com. Once again, that's kingdomservants1st.com. Fam, we want you to be the best version of yourself. Get one of these books today. God bless.